Good afternoon, everyone. Here to bring about a bit of afternoon cheer to you all. Before I begin, I know that the title name of this page, I'm very fully aware that the name of this page is The Real Beauty of Black Relationships. And the thing that I am about to speak of may not necessarily fit within the confines of what may be conventionally known as the relationship, what is rarely spoken of as a relationship, but it's a relationship nonetheless with that includes a black person. And the relationship I'm talking about, well, I guess it includes another self-proclaimed black person, but we'll get to that later. The situation I'm speaking of is, of course, the current topic, Kanye, well, Ye West, or he goes by Ye. And also, and I thought about it, I said, well, why is he having an issue with the media? His mother named him Kanye and Yeezy, why is he having an issue with them people not calling him Ye? I gotta be careful with the terminology of them people calling him Ye. And I thought about it. Now, this man has been, mentioned, or, I guess you would have to look at the evidence, as the richest black man in American history. The richest black American man in history. He's a billionaire. It took him a while and Forbes still is, I guess, reluctantly to report him as a billionaire, but he proclaims himself as a billionaire. And I guess no one really has the wherewithal to disprove his claim. So he goes on the Drink Champ show. He had already been canceled. Well, I hate to use that terminology. He was supposed to have been on another interview show. I guess LeBron is behind it or whatever. But they canceled on that because he allegedly was going to say anti-Semitic, Semite meanings. I guess you'd have to look that word up to know exactly what it means. Semite, to be Semitic. That they were worried about Kanye's potential anti-Semitic remarks and how they will be perceived by the public. So a couple of days later, much to our surprise, here comes the Drink Champs interview, and I'm wondering when they say part 3, I'm like, is this some cutting room floor footage they threw up here? But then I click on it, and they talking about the current shit. Talking about the White Lives Matter shirt. How he basically cleared it up. He said, "I got my kids' mom is white. They grandmammy white. So why would I not say White Lives Matter? Black Lives Matter does matter for real. Black Lives Matter, the organization, not so much." George Floyd, fentanyl played a part in his death. He may have said out. Well, I gotta watch this shit right because this shit is wild right here. Pardon me. The guy the coroner who done the autopsy, he said that it was hard. The pressure contributed to a cardiac arrest. The man had a heart attack because the officer was on his neck, and that was also he had a restricted blood flow, and that comes with heart disease. He had heart disease. George Floyd had heart disease, and going and tussling with this officer, with these few officers, I guess. And then also you had the extra element of fentanyl. In other words, someone could be of the opinion that if he had not been on any fentanyl, he would be alive. But he was on fentanyl, and that is what it is. But regardless of George Floyd, getting past that, this guy N.O.R.E, the Drink Champs guy, and then as I watched the interview with Kanye, I saw N.O.R.E. It was like as if he was trying to he said on this particular program, Rosenberg, I think it's Hot 97 with Rosenberg, what's her name, Ebro, and another lady, I hate to, Laura something. I think her name is Laura. So he went on that show this morning, and he was doing a mea culpa. I don't understand why certain people feel as if, especially if you call yourself a journalist, why would you put yourself in a position where you have to feel as if you have to make an apology for a person that you interviewed, a public figure, a celebrity? That celebrity has the right to speak for itself. That's how the course of journalism, course of actual journalism goes. The particular individual goes on one platform. He made something in which people may have criticism about. At that point, another journalist, or the same media outlet may go back to that particular individual they interviewed who said such and such a statement and ask them what they meant by that statement and to clarify. Because what people aren't talking about is how he attempted to clarify what he meant, and I think Kanye himself said, well, the term DEFCON 3 might have been a little bit too extreme, but they say whatever. But I'm still trying to get back to N.O.R.E. N.O.R.E. is a rapper. I don't know if you guys know Capone and Nore. He's a rapper. What with the Neptunes and all that stuff. So he has a program called Drink Champs, and Kanye has been on N.O.R.E.'s program several times. Kanye even says that his daughter Northwest, he calls her N.O.R.E. in honor of Noriega. But Noriega says, I thought I could, I know Kanye, and I can generally call him and give him advice. And it's like, well, N.O.R.E., are you saying that Kanye can't tell you nothing? No pun intended. You can't tell me nothing. No pun intended. But you mean to tell me Kanye don't be telling you nothing? You have to be an official advisor for Kanye West. I'm trying to find a parking space, y'all. I'm sorry. So N.O.R.E. goes on Rosenberg, and Rosenberg is like, you're responsible. I know you were trying to, but why weren't you effective? No, I was drunk. But the thing that really got me about N.O.R.E. was, okay, N.O.R.E. came in and said, as a black man, Mr. Reggaeton, why all of a sudden you black now? Why can't you what you say, you Dominican or whatever? I don't know what ethnicity you say that you are, but why would you why would you lead with saying I'm black? Ye says that the black people are the Hebrew Israelites. We are Jews as well. There's so many other things to talk about, and that they talked about within that 3 hours. They could have been discussed. What about, the communities and the self-sustainability? What about, the business aspects of things? What about the fact he said, well, that he was drawing the parallels with how people tried to slam him for trying to figure out where his daughter was. He just was trying to get to her birthday party, so she would have the memory of her father being at a birthday party. But he said the Kardashians kidnapped his daughter, Chicago, and what did he say, in broad daylight, in public, in the middle of the day public. I don't understand how people don't see how these things are, what is actually going on. I guess it's not the level of, I guess they like to give Kanye the red head. It's not a Trump level style of takedown, but you think about it, it's not that Kanye has constructively done any harm to black people or even any other particular group or racial ethnic group. Kanye, he's a man of God. He's a Christian. Why are the good Christian folks allowing the media to tarnish such an individual because he wore a White Lives Matter t-shirt? I thought all lives matters in the eyes of God. I tell you, man, I don't understand it myself. But Nore got on there, and he was tap dancing and shuffling, and in the name of as a black man. He should have checked Kanye. How do you check $1 million? How do you check $1 billion man? I don't understand this shit. What gets me is that this man has somehow accumulated billions of dollars in a short amount of time. But meanwhile, he's saying he's crazy. He goes on and said, "Well, I own 5% of Skims, and Kim owns 5% of Yeezy, but just Jared Kushner owns 10% of Skims. How does that work? Why is Hillary Clinton calling my wife, telling people to convince them to do something to themselves of a medical nature, just because it was just so much more to go at, but we had to get in the feelings of how such and such, the mere fact that Kanye spoke about these individual group of people, and not necessarily in a malicious fashion, but just something that could be factually checked. You know, it's not that the things that he said cannot be evidenced by historical facts. I'm nobody on there. I'm under shadow ban. That's why I come here, because I know that I accumulate over the years that I've been on Facebook. I accumulated the audience that I have, and I know that it's majority ladies, and I do appreciate that, because all through my life it's been more than likely women that have butt trusted and supported me. You know, and I often get accused on this page of playing favorites toward the women. You know, I've been, as of late, that I do things that indict the males' character in relation to women. But like I said, this is not necessarily all about, you know, hooking up with a mate or something like this. This is about relationships with people, relationship with your children, relationships with your government officials, relationships, period, your peers, whatever. But I just want to come on and talk about N.O.R.E. though. I don't understand. Like I said recently, you know, once upon a time, I guess it was during the passage of the slavery days, a particular slave may get in trouble. I should say slave, a particular ancestor who was enslaved may have gotten in trouble. And then the master had them up in front on the chopping block. And then, you know, you got one set of people who already know you're already down. They down with the slave on the chopping block, you know, because they trying to get free too. So he tried to get free. They with what he with. So the master be ready to say, well, what y'all know about this? Did such and such try to run away? No, master, we don't know nothing about that, master. No, that didn't happen. Then you had those people who know that he did try to run away, but yet and still they might have some type of particular issue with that slave. They're everybody's slaves, but they mad at this one particular slave. So when master come and ask them, you know, either they have the option to be quiet and play I don't know as well, or they could be like, yeah, master, you know, he should have been more careful about the way he's talking, master. And under the name of being a black man, Mr. I introduced reggaeton to America, to the world. These not, I mean, I not to be, you know, everybody black, we all black, but now every African, whatever. But underneath the guise of being a black American that was descended from those who were enslaved during the transatlantic slave period, who built this country, I resent the fact that Nore would even speak on that, because would even speak to the point as saying that I, as a black man, it's like you're being a chameleon, sir. As a black man, I would have been more prone to switch the subject and be like, well, he was talking about building homes and building communities and getting people into jobs and things like that, you know, and trying to individualize us, make our group strong, not be so dependent on the white man. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me, but I've arrived at my official plantation, which I'm so gracious of, my job, which I fondly refer to as Candyland. Y'all have a great afternoon. Real beauty of black relationships. Peace and love.